Good morning. It's 9 o'clock in the morning and it's October 15 and we are at Dinosaur Provincial Park in Alberta, and I am so stoked to be here. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. We stayed at a nice campground and it cost $34 for electrical hookup, and there is a nice washroom with showers and laundry here, so really nice. And this trail we're doing this morning is a 3-kilometer loop trail that you drive, or you can walk it, of course. And off of this loop trail there's spur trails. So this first one is the Badlands Trail, and it's 1.3 kilometers loop. So I love the Badlands. I am so keen on being here. This is the largest and most impressive Badlands in all of Canada. And actually, Badlands are rare in Canada. Alberta apparently has the only section of Badlands. So, to get a perspective on this place, we visited the Royal Tyrell Museum yesterday, and that has been on my bucket list for a long time, and I want to show it to you now. These are Albertosaurus sarcophaguses. They're pretty huge. This is a Dunkletius skull. This one is an Albertosaurus sarcophagus. And this guy is a Carnotaurus. This is a Pachycephalosaurus found in South Dakota. Look at the protrusions from its skull. This massive guy is the Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's very famous in Alberta. This is a Centrosaurus apertus. Look at the horns on it. A Drumheller albertensis. This is the fossil laboratory. I guess they make molds of the fossils that they find. Oh, and this is the hadrosaur tail, also known as the duck-billed dinosaur. They were very common in Alberta. Now this is some kind of a sea creature. It's a Mosasaurus skull. This guy came from Fort McMurray. They say it's a 1 in a billion find. It's an armored dinosaur. This is a woolly mammoth. He's not woolly anymore though. Okay, let's go through this tunnel. Pretty. Wow, this is cool. The Ankylosaurus. We get a bird's eye view of these dinosaurs. Wow. This is the Dunkletius, the largest placoderm. The powerful swimmer and the top predator of its time. It had no teeth. Instead, the bones of its jaw formed jagged, self-sharpening razor-like edges made for cutting prey. And it weighs as much as 3 elephants. The Dimetrodon. Whoa. Some serious spikes. That's a big spine. Dinosaurus used its flippers for swimming and steering. Camarasaurus, right hind limb, found in Utah. Oh, and here's the actual Camarasaurus. Crazy. Small head compared to its large body. Yeah, not much brains. And this one is the Allosaurus. It was the most common carnivorous dinosaur in North America. Oh, it looks like it's eating a Camptosaurus. Oh man. And then these little guys are the Ornitholetes hermini, found in Wyoming. And this is the Stegosaurus. Had large plates along its back and distinctive tail spikes. Yikes. It was used for defense. Alright, this is the Drumheller notabilis. And this is the Gorgosaurus. It predated its famous cousins Tyrannosauruses by about a long time. I'm not gonna say it because I don't believe in it. This is an Ankylosaur, Euoplocephalus. It was so well protected that even its eyelids had bony plates that flipped up and down like shutters. The belly was the most vulnerable part of its body. This is a herbivorous dinosaur. Discovered in Alberta. This is an herbivore dinosaur, Chasmosaurus belli. Unreal. Its head is massive. Look at the horns on these things. Stegosaurus. These are little tiny dinosaurs. They were discovered in Alberta. And some petrified logs. And this is the Gorgosaurus. Robust jaws and serrated teeth could crack through bone and rib carcasses. Strethiomymus. Oh my, this is a big guy. The Tyrannosaurus Rex. And this is the Triceratops. That was the first time I've ever seen anything related to dinosaurs or dinosaur bones. That was pretty cool to see all that. And can you just picture the dinosaurs stomping around up here? Because this is where they found a lot of those dinosaurs, was in this very area. Now, to be clear, I don't believe that the dinosaurs lived millions and billions of years ago. I believe in a biblical flood, and that's how they got buried and fossilized. So just for the record, that's what I believe. You can believe whatever you want to believe, of course. I find it fascinating how they came up with all those names. Such interesting names. This kind of clay is called smectite clay, and it swells up to 10 times its size when it rains. So it gets really slippery. It's very fascinating. Continuing on with our walk through the Bible, we're just starting out actually. We're at the point where Cain has killed Abel, and he slew him in a field. And that's something that you need to remember as we progress through this day. Getting a really good workout this morning. Now this colored stone is called ironstone, but it's made up of only 3% iron. Who knows why Cain killed his brother Abel? He had some serious anger issues, didn't he? But it's amazing how God approached Cain. He simply asked Cain where Abel, his brother, is, and he gave him the opportunity to confess. But Cain didn't confess. Instead, he said, "Am I my brother's keeper?" This is a hadrosaur skeleton, exactly where it was found in 1959 by the first park ranger. It's missing its head, sadly. The head often gets washed away with the waters as it deteriorates. Then God said, "What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cries to me from the ground. And now you are cursed from the earth, which received your brother's blood from your hand." Ah, then Cain knew that God knew what he had done. The trembling murderer found an all-seeing and all-knowing God reading his naked soul. How could he who notes the sparrow's fall, he who is the author of life, be deaf to the silent cry of the first martyr? It's very interesting that the curse God put upon Cain is the very thing that Cain brought to God in the first place. You will recall that he brought offerings from the fruit of his labors of the ground. So from now on, when Cain tilled the ground, it would not produce like it did before. Having been compelled to drink the innocent blood, the earth rebelled, as it were, against the murderer. And when he tilled it, it would withhold its strength, and so he would have little reward for his labors. Now, Cain thought that was a very unfair punishment, more than he could bear, and he thought that he would get killed while being a vagabond on the earth. Now, these are the bones of the Centrosaurus, and it looked much like our modern-day rhinoceros, both in size and with an impressive nasal horn. Now we are on the trail of the fossil hunters. This sounds like fun. And it's 0.9 kilometers one way. You can really smell the sage. And I love that it's an interpretive trail. The first scientifically recorded dinosaur discoveries in Canada and Alberta were stumbled on by surveyors and geologists. These early collectors opened the eyes of the paleontological world to the significance of the Red Deer River fossils. In 1884, Joseph Burr Tyrell was dispatched by the Geographical Survey of Canada to explore the geology of the Red Deer River by boat. Though primarily interested in coal and other minerals, he soon realized that the walls of the valley held the most extensive dinosaur graveyard ever seen in Canada. As he climbed up a steep face of a valley near Drumheller and stuck his head around a point, he jerked back in fright. Gaping at him were the huge eye sockets of an Albertosaurus, its fossilized skull partly exposed on the hillside. The Red Deer River Valley made the headlines in newspapers all over the world with the exceptional dinosaur finds during the Great Canadian Dinosaur Rush from 1910 to 1917. Crested duck-billed dinosaurs, armored dinosaurs, horned dinosaurs, skin impressions. The park area held a treasure simply waiting to be unearthed. Fossils collected in those days are still studied by scientists and delight millions of visitors in the various museums where they are housed. It was the efforts of two expert teams that notably brought to light the international importance of the fossil resources in this area. The teams of Barnum Brown collecting for the American Museum of Natural History and the Sternberg family working for the Geological Survey of Canada. Nowadays, murderers get put into prison, but there were no prisons back then, so God made him a prisoner of the earth. God gave Cain plenty of opportunity to confess and repent, but Cain wouldn't. We know that there will be murderers in heaven, but Cain, he had a hard heart. Then it says that Cain went out from the presence of the Lord. What a very sad statement. He rejected God, a God that wants people to confess and give their lives to him, and then he will provide restoration for them. Now we are on the Cottonwood Flats Trail, and it's a 1.4 kilometer loop trail. We're walking on the floodplain of the Red Deer River. Did you know that since Cain couldn't work the land, he is the first person to build a city? The world's first murderer built the world's first city. Let that sink in. Well, this would have been a pretty walk with leaves on the trees. It's kind of stark right now this time of year, but still, I love it. It was God's plan that man should live in nature. And it's interesting, even for this day and age, that's the best option. Cities are full of evil and every vice there flourishes. I don't think there's any kind of good that comes out of cities. Forgive me if you live in a city, but I am so blessed to live in the country. I'm so grateful. And I do believe that that is God's ideal. So, fire raged through this stand of cottonwoods in 1989. They are going to be making this pathway wheelchair accessible for next year. So that's good. This is just a beautiful autumn walk. And I got to walk where dinosaurs walked. What an epic day. They figure this cottonwood is 200 years old. That is a massive cottonwood trunk. So tell me what your living situation is. Do you live in a city or in the country? And do you like your living situation? Yeah, tell me about it. And also, give me a thumbs up if you think God is a merciful God. I got to walk in dinosaur country. That is amazing. This Dinosaur Provincial Park and the whole experience I've had, 5 out of 5 for sure. You got to do this at least once in your life. Pretty proud of these Alberta Badlands. Now sadly, this is a hiking channel and it's getting to be the end of the hiking season for me. And because of travel restrictions, because of the pandemic, I really don't know when I'll be seeing you guys again. I'm so sad. Hey, little dears. Are you trying to hide? Are you trying to hide? The last trail we're taking is the Coulee Viewpoint Trail. It's a 0.9 kilometer loop trail, and it takes off from the visitor center, as you can see behind me. These steps were made for dinosaurs. Gigantosaurus, my mom says. Man, what do they think we are? Wow, the land of the giants. I was just thinking how massive the dinosaurs are, and that just gives us a glimpse as to probably how tall Adam and Eve were, how God created them. I bet their stature was like 12 feet tall. I bet they were just giants. I think that's so cool to think about that. Thank you for the dinosaurs, Lord, and for giving us a glimpse of your majesty and greatness. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next epic adventure, and as I said, I'm not sure when that will be. I hope it will be soon, but take good care of yourselves. Assalamu alaikum, shalom, peace.